Let's welcome our friend Randy from Texas. Randy, are you online?
Yes, I am, Lars.
Hey, how are you?
I'm perfect. How are you?
Not bad. So thank you for taking the time to tell us a little bit more about what's going on at Gearbox. So
Thank
without
you.
further ado, I would like to hand over to you.
Thank you, Lars. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to talk to you today about the Gearbox Entertainment Company. I led my company to join the Embracer Group because I believe in Lars's vision of a decentralized collective of autonomous member companies that naturally diversify across mediums, across markets, products, and experiences. I believe that Lars's vision for the Embracer model is the best and fastest path to accelerate my mission to entertain the world. So I pledged my commitment to Lars and the Embracer model, and Lars pledged his commitment to empower me to build the Gearbox Entertainment Company of my dreams. Prior to joining the Embracer Group, we had already demonstrated success in IP building, transmedia development, product development, and publishing, and we had demonstrated our ability to scale our creative engine. But Gearbox acceleration was limited by the interests of traditional blue blood publishers. These guys had a particular idea of the kinds of games Gearbox should be limited to making and the pace at which we should do it with the brands that they were had rights to. With Embracer Group, the future power of the Gearbox Entertainment Company is being stimulated and unleashed, and access to capital is a big part of that. Let's look at the next slide. It's my ambition to maximally develop the existing and established owned intellectual property that Gearbox has while stimulating the ability to simultaneously create new original IP across a spectrum of genres for a spectrum of different kinds of customers with a spectrum of different kinds of business models. To accomplish this, we must increase our capability and momentum. And I'm happy to report that the execution of our thesis is proving out to be successful. Since we have joined the Embracer Group, the entertainment company at Gearbox is accelerating in powerful ways, building an exciting future. Let's look at our human power. Next slide. When we joined the Embracer Group in 2021, the Gearbox Entertainment Company employed just over 500 people worldwide. Today, the global footprint of our talent exceeds 1,200 people. Our growth was primarily organic, fueled by our passion and drive to build the future of the Gearbox Entertainment Company with record-breaking growth in both our headquarters in Frisco, Texas, and our development studios in Quebec and Montreal. We also experienced growth supported by some exciting M&A activity that would not have been possible without Embracer, including the acquisition of the publishing slate and talent of Perfect World North America, now Gearbox Publishing San Francisco, the acquisition of Cryptic Studios, developers of Star Trek Online and Dungeons & Dragons Neverwinter Online, and the acquisition of Lost Boys Interactive, which is a game development studio populated by veteran industry-leading talent and world-class capability that's supporting not only development within Gearbox Software, but also development for other leading developers and publishers around the world. The sum of this growth and what you will continue to see from Gearbox in the coming months of years is a key point of evidence in the successful execution of our strategy. I want to share with you the elements of the Gearbox Entertainment Company and how they are working together to help catapult us into the best possible future that we can imagine. Next slide. Gearbox Software, of course, is the development and production unit of the Gearbox Entertainment Company that I founded in 1999 and is currently led by Mr. Steve Jones. Gearbox Software achieved a major victory this past year with the launch of a new franchise, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Next slide. Wonderlands shattered all of our target expectations, both critically and commercially, and I'm thrilled to report that in addition to great financial rewards from this victory that will be coming our way in the coming quarters, we have established a firm beachhead. And we now clearly have a new franchise on our hands with future experiences already under development at Gearbox. Next slide. Some of you noticed that I was on stage again post-pandemic at Opening Night Live and Gamescom recently in Germany, where I announced with Jeff Keighley there new Tales from the Borderlands. I am very excited about this new Borderlands video game. It will launch this October on all leading platforms, including the Nintendo Switch. Let's go to the next slide. Of course, Gearbox Publishing is the commercialization unit of the Gearbox Entertainment Company, and it's led by Mr. Steve Gibson. Next slide. Gearbox Publishing has brought to market a spectrum of interesting and successful titles, including most recently in the fiscal year we're talking about, Risk of Rain 2, Tribes of Midgard, and Have a Nice Death. And these titles have exceeded our expectations. Next slide. One of my most anticipated new projects coming from Gearbox Publishing is Homeworld 3. It's shaping up to be something very special, a sequel many years in the making that's very highly anticipated from a loyal and dedicated Homeworld fan base that helped the franchise earn more than 50 Game of the Year awards to become, as best as I can tell, the highest rated strategy game franchise of all time. And we're coming with Homeworld 3 soon. Next slide. Gearbox Publishing also has several unannounced titles in its lineup, and I want to make the point that the power, range, and capability of the Gearbox Publishing team is growing to where we have the capacity now to compete with the largest publishers in our industry and bring to market AAA video games at any scale across all leading platforms with world-class marketing and sales. So note that the quality and success of our products and the profit margins of our development efforts will be accelerating as more and more Gearbox brands and more Gearbox Software developed games are brought to market by Gearbox Publishing in the future. Next slide. A brief look ahead. I'm going to talk more about this in a minute, but look, we've got a number of known and announced titles coming in the immediate future from Gearbox, with 10 AAA titles spanning both established and original IP and development at Gearbox Software, and more than 24 SKUs in the future lineup with Gearbox Publishing. I'll make more comments about our future in my closing remarks in just a moment, so let's continue going through our key verticals. Next slide. One thing I am very excited about from the last year is that we officially formed one of our newest business verticals, Gearbox Studios, which is leading transmedia projects in film and television for the Gearbox Entertainment Company. I've personally taken the role of president of Gearbox Studios as I continue to establish and build this new group. Here are some of our already announced early achievements. Next slide. The Borderlands motion picture with Lionsgate Entertainment. We completed principal photography in 2021, and we're now in post-production. I'm very, very excited about the work that I have been able to do with the talented team at Arad Productions, director Eli Roth, and actors Kate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black, absolute legends with other very talented cast and crew member working from Craig Mazin's awesome script. When this film enters the commercialization and promotion phase, I am confident that our studio partners at Lionsgate will bring the thunder. The entire world of people that enjoy movies will come to know and appreciate the Borderlands brand, and this will be a boon to the future of our franchise. Next slide. It was also recently announced that Gearbox Studios has partnered with Legendary Entertainment to bring Duke Nukem to the big screen. We're just getting started with Gearbox Studios, so you can expect action across all of our IP and for new IP to be developed with transmedia plans in mind or actually already in hand. Next slide. To support our transmedia franchise planning and our full spectrum strategy, last year also saw the formation of Gearbox Properties, led by longtime Gearbox veteran producer and creative director Randy Varnell. Now, Gearbox Properties is a new business vertical at the Gearbox Entertainment, and it serves as the custodian of our intellectual properties, our franchises, and brands across all projects in interactive, transmedia, and other consumer merchandise categories. Now, encompassed within Gearbox Properties are a number of centralized capabilities that serve each of the other verticals. You see, Gearbox Properties is future-focused with a full-spectrum franchise-driven strategy. Now, in addition to managing franchise planning for existing franchises and brands, Gearbox Properties is also the birthplace of new IP that can be developed by Gearbox Software or Gearbox Studios and or brought to market by Gearbox Publishing. With that, let's take to the next slide. I want to talk about the future of Gearbox. With the increasingly powerful and accelerating capabilities of Gearbox Software, Gearbox Publishing, Gearbox Studios, and Gearbox Properties, the Gearbox Entertainment Company is building an exciting and prosperous future, well-positioned to not only maximizing Gearbox existing and new IP, but also to help support the maximization of IP within other Embracer Group companies. We believe that great entertainment, great stories and characters and interactive experiences can delight different audiences across different mediums and with different business models. And we believe that by creating, supporting, and synchronizing and amplifying different experiential manifestations of our creativity, that all of our applications will be lifted and benefited. My vision is to maximize IP through the development and commercialization of manifestations of our IP in many mediums, to many different kinds of customers, in many different kinds of places. And success depends upon the best talent for each respective manifestation. We live in a world where most intellectual property is singularly developed from a specific medium as a starting point and only rarely adapted to other mediums. And I think that the Embracer Group is extremely well positioned to change all of that. We have some of the greatest intellectual property in the world, with everything like at Gearbox with Homeworld and Borderlands, to the Embracer Group at large with Lord of the Rings and Tomb Raider. We have powerful IP that is dormant and not yet maximizing, and we are creating new intellectual property every day. We have some of the greatest talent in the world in areas of interactive entertainment with Gearbox Software and other Embracer Group developers. And we have some of the greatest talent in the world with graphic novels and comic books and story and character development with Dark Horse. We have some of the greatest talent in the world with board games and tabletop experiences with Asmodee. And we have talent in mobile, and we have talent in hyper casual. And I'm just scratching the surface. It's beyond the scope of my time here today to completely articulate the full capabilities of the Embracer Group. So for my part, the Gearbox Entertainment Company has at least 5 new games with existing IP in development, AAA games, and an additional 5 new AAA titles with new original IP in active development at Gearbox Software, with many more in various stages of incubation and development. And excitingly, there are over 24 new titles on the slate for Gearbox Publishing, with many more in various stages of incubation and development. So finally, I want to point out that I have also been leading several efforts in collaboration with several other powerfully specialized companies within the Embracer Group. And the idea is to build new avenues of product, franchise, and IP development across mediums, simultaneously building a franchise plan where the IP is optimized for the various manifestations we can imagine down the road. And I believe that will contribute to the proof of the power of the Embracer Group strategy in the years to come. So I am absolutely thrilled for the road ahead, and I'm excited to be a part, just my part, of helping to lead us there. And I'm grateful to be part of the Embracer Group with Lars's vision, enabling and amplifying the success that is very plainly ahead of us. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Lars, for your time today. Cheers.
Thank you, Randy. You are fantastic. And you're always creating some new headlines, so let's see.
Hey, I've got exciting stuff, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Thanks for everything you've done to help me accelerate and amplify Gearbox vision.
Yeah, thank you so much, Randy. And let's move on